Hi guys! So today for the Joseon with Jane, we are going to be reviewing Hwang Jini. I know a lot of you requested on me doing a video on her, so here I am. But before I start, Hwang Jini was a very famous kiseng of the Joseon dynasty, and since I'm guessing some of you or a lot of you might not know what that means, I thought I would explain it to you. So basically, kiseng were the female courtesans of the Joseon dynasty, and they were very, like the lowest of the low. They called them 천민, but they were technically even lower than the lowest of the low because one, they were women, and two, they were courtesans that were, controlled by the state, by the government. There were actually 3 tiers of kisengs, which a lot of people don't know about because often in dramas and movies they're misrepresented as just basically female prostitutes of the Joseon dynasty, but actually they're not. A lot of people actually like to call them geisha of the Joseon dynasty, which, I kind of get why people would say that, but they're actually not exactly the same. So, kiseng were divided into 3 categories. There was 1패, 2패, and 3패. And basically, 1패 was the top tier kisengs. They only danced and sang, attended the parties of the king or very, high-ranking noblewomen. And 2패 were basically the kiseng who were very talented, very pretty, but they weren't good enough to be the first top tier. And they often met with just noblemen. And yes, they often didn't talk to or get in contact with commoners a lot because they were still of a certain class. And then we have the 3패, who were also called 창기 because they lacked intellect or beauty or whatever standards they used back then, which I think was really sad. But they were forced to they were sent here and there by the government and they had to do whatever they were told, which is very sad. But since now you know the basic facts of kiseng, I'm going to start explaining Hwang Jini. So Hwang Jini was also called 명월. 명월 was her kiseng name. A lot of kisengs actually changed their name. 명월 means bright moon, 밝을 명, and then 월 is 달월. Yep, she was a kiseng during the reign of King Chunjong in Joseon, and she was a very, famous kiseng who left behind a very, famous legacy. Her date of birth isn't clear, but she lived from 1506 to 1560. And she was known for her exceptional beauty, her wit, her charms, her extraordinary intellect, and her very independent nature, which wasn't exactly common for women in the Joseon dynasty, as you might know. And she's inspired a lot of novels, dramas, movies. Some I might name are, I'm sure a lot of you know, the Korean actress Song Hye-kyo. She was in a movie Hwang Jini, and also Ha Ji-won. She's also a Korean actress. She was in a K-drama, which was inspired by Hwang Jini's life. Actually, I haven't watched either the drama or the movie as they're not really age appropriate, but I've heard that they are quite good. But I must warn, apparently the movie isn't exactly historically correct, but I've heard it's very good. And some deep facts now that we're diving into her real life. She was born to a noble family, actually, to the son of a politician, which was very unusual for a kiseng because kisengs, as I said, were the lowest of the low. So often they would be born into, poor families, but that wasn't the case for Hwang Jini. And she was her father's illegitimate daughter, actually, and her mother had a very low status, which kind of adds to the reason she later chose to give up her noble life and become a kiseng. But apparently ever since she was young, she was so beautiful that a lot of men wanted to marry her, and they got so lovesick that some of them even died. I have no idea if that's true, but according to legend, that's what it is. And later on, because of her mother's low status and herself being an illegitimate child, she decided to give up her noble status and become a kiseng, which I think would have been a really hard decision to make. And as you can guess, she had been raised as a noble woman should. So she had a lot more time and opportunities to learn things that normal kiseng wouldn't be able to know. So she was very intellectual, she was very witty, she was charming, and of course she was very beautiful. And soon after, she became the most sought-after gising in all of Joseon. Apparently, even the king fell for her, but no one knows if that's true, so don't take my word for it. And now that we're wrapping up this video, I have one more thing to say. She was extremely famous for her riddles. So basically, she only, kind of met with or slept with men that could answer this riddle. She had quite a few of them, I know, but they were apparently so hard that she waited for years and years to find a man who could actually solve it. She was also very famous for her poems, and of her remaining works, unfortunately, there are only 7 hansis, which are Korean poetry and Chinese characters, and 6 shijos. And I've heard that they are very beautiful, so I think you should go search for it, or maybe you could watch the dramas or the movies I recommended. And with that, I end my Hwang Jini episode, and see you next time. Bye!